This is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping our news today at noon, a powerful 7.3 magnitude earthquake that struck the Iraq-Iran border region has now killed more than 400 people in both countries. Iran's Press TV reporting the highest number of casualties in the country occurred in the Kermanshah province, which you're seeing video of now. ABC's Molly Hunter is in London with the latest.
Stretcher after stretcher, head wounds and broken bones. The injured are flooding into this Iraqi hospital. Nearly 4,000 wounded across the region and many too far from any medical care. Iranian forces are setting up field hospitals anywhere they can, and the majority of the destruction is on the Iranian side of the border. The quake struck late Sunday night here in a remote region on the Iran-Iraq border. Watch this moment. Television anchors in northern Iraq on air as this studio starts to shake. So powerful, it was felt more than 150 miles away in Baghdad, where U.S. troops reported fierce tremors. But close to the epicenter, look at the anguish. This man with his hands in the air, and here, collapsed in grief.
Because the quake was so late at night and in such a remote region, thousands and thousands of people spent last night outside. Now, the priorities today are getting emergency aid to those people who need it and searching for survivors. Molly Hunter, ABC News, London.
And last night, a 6.5 quake struck off the coast of Costa Rica. 3 people suffered fatal heart attacks coinciding with the time of the quake. The president of Costa Rica tweeted that no tsunami warning had been issued for that area. Meanwhile, in Texas, the small town of Sutherland Springs is still trying to recover from the attack in their church that killed 26 people and left 20 more wounded more than a week ago. The church was open on Sunday, not for church service, but to let the public visit a memorial created in the sanctuary by volunteers. 2 of the victims, husband and wife Richard and Therese Rodriguez, were also buried in the town cemetery over the weekend. The pastor says the church building will be demolished, adding it would be just too painful to continue using it as a place of worship. Today marks 2 years since ISIS militants launched the deadliest attacks on French soil since World War II. More than 100 people were killed in the attacks back in 2015. Ceremonies are being held at the sites where those attacks took place, and French President Emmanuel Macron is expected to meet with the families of all of those victims. Here in the Suncoast, Service Club Park in Venice will be closed for construction. The park on Harbor Drive South will remain closed until mid-April as the boardwalk and picnic areas are rebuilt. Once it's complete, the new facility will provide a full ADA-approved access to the beach as well as a raised picnic area. Beachgoers are encouraged to use any of the other nearby beach accesses while that park remains closed. A Lombok Key woman says she was the intended target of scammers posing as agents from the Internal Revenue Service. ABC 7's Ray Collins joins us now with her story. Ray?
Scott, over 20 calls in less than a week, but luckily she didn't fall for it. Roberta Straff says it all began last week when she had a phone message, supposedly from the IRS, saying she owed them money. They said if she didn't pay some sort of bill, they put liens on her house. Roberta said she had a hunch it was a scam, but she worries about other seniors who could be conned.
They left a message, and then they said to call back, and then I called back this number, and then it was a threat that they were going to put liens on my house and so forth, and it was frightening. If I had not heard in the back of my mind that IRS does not call you, that they send you certified letters, I would have been really, really, really frightened, because these things are very upsetting.
Yes, they would be. Roberta said the sheriff's office said there was nothing that they could do, and they told her to call the IRS in Washington. Local police said the bad guys are able to disguise their phone numbers these days on caller ID. There was a recent scam where hackers used the number of Sarasota police while asking for money. So be careful on the phone. Don't be an easy target. Scott, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ray. Let's get a check on our Monday afternoon weather with meteorologist John Scalzi. And kind of cloudy, overcast a little bit this morning, but
yeah, it did, but it cleared out pretty quickly.
That's good.
Yeah, we get some sunshine out there, and the rain chance is pretty much going away. All part of a frontal boundary sinking through that's going to produce some pretty nice weather this week. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, this week. I thought you were talking about yesterday, because it was kind of drizzly, yucky yesterday.
I personally liked that.
Did you?
I did. I thought it was kind of nice. I worked outside all day, actually.
Kept it a little cooler?
kept it a little cooler. It was
Yeah.
pleasant and a little breezy like yesterday. We won't see the misty rains like we did yesterday. In fact, the Van Wezel webcam put into motion shows that kind of low-hanging cloud that we had. And then a little drier air starts to filter in there, and we're left with a little bit more sunshine. We'll kind of have that mix of sun and clouds throughout the remainder of the afternoon. And as far as tomorrow goes, I think we'll be able to see a whole lot more sunshine around. You can kind of see we're sort of on the dividing line between clear blue skies and a little extra cloud cover. That's because there's a front sinking southward. Right now it's located, probably around Cross City, around in there, just north of Dunedin. That will be sinking southward. There are some rain showers that have been kind of prevalent across the other coastline, and we get a little bit of cloud cover from that from time to time. Maybe a spot of drizzle in Hardee and DeSoto counties. I don't think we'll see much along the coast. Daytime high today will probably top up pretty close to 84 degrees or so. And then over the next several days, you're going to love it. We'll talk about it in just a second, Scott.
All right, John, sounds good. Thank you. Minority students at a Florida University campus are feeling threatened by racially charged messages that have been posted around campus. This is the fourth case in about 6 months at Florida Gulf Coast University in Fort Myers. Most recently, posters were found that say, quote, "It's okay to be white." Last year, FGCU students protested over a racist drawing that was left on a whiteboard on campus. Some students there still don't feel safe.
Now at this point, I really don't feel safe being here of my skin tone, because even when we walk into class or like walk around campus, people just like stare at us like they've never seen a black person before.
The most recent hate message led 9 faculty members to write a letter to university administration. It asked for a better investigation from university police and quicker response times of making students and staff aware of hate speech incidents. The investigation of a Penn State fraternity death moving forward. Prosecutors will announce what they found on surveillance footage from a fraternity house where an underage student died, allegedly from hazing. Footage retrieved from the frat's extensive system of security cameras captured many of the events that day, but prosecutors say a fraternity member erased key footage from a basement camera. A press conference will be held later today. We'll have more on what they say coming up at 5 o'clock. Right now, ABC 7 business commentator Richard Stern joins us with a check of the day on Wall Street, and kind of a quiet morning so far on Wall Street. Richard, to start the new week?
Scott, I would have to say that's absolutely accurate. The biggest move of any of the 3 indices we've seen this morning is less than 0.1%. I think we call that a snooze probably. But intra-morning, there was some pretty big movement. Intra-morning, a gain on loss net of 108 points. But as of right now, we are going absolutely nowhere. Let's take a look at the nowhere numbers, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. There's the Dow. That's the biggest move, up 0.07%, not quite 16 points at 23,437.77 on volume of 318 million shares. Now the NASDAQ, also an up arrow, 3 points, 0.04%, 6,753.91. That on volume of 688 million shares. And be it ever so humble, the S&P up 0.02%, 0.5% at 2,582.81. The General Electric Company has been in business for 125 years and an icon of American business. Well, guess what? GE today came out and announced a dividend cut of 50%, 50. They're cutting their dividend in half. Obviously, the company continues to struggle. They've got different management, but they simply have not been able to keep their eye on the ball. So far this year, in an up market, shares of the General Electric Company are down by 35%. So GE certainly was an icon once upon a time, and they're going to try and do their best to get back by cutting the dividend. Obviously, they'll have more cash to work with. They're also cutting the size of their board of directors from 18 people to 12 people. And Scott, we'll see how that all works out. But when you only cut your dividend 3 times in 125 years, it gets my attention, I have to say.
Yeah, people will notice for sure.
Absolutely.
We'll see you again at 5 o'clock with the closing numbers.
I will be here.
All right, Richard, thanks so much for the update.
You are welcome.
Still to come in your Suncoast News this afternoon, just because your toddler is tugging at his or her ear doesn't mean they have an ear infection. When doctors say to consider surgery. And universities across Florida taking action against an increasing problem among their students. Now they're planning to combat mental health crisis on campus.
The ABC 7 Stock Report is brought to you by Sunset Cadillac.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
Rose takes her volunteering for Tidewell Hospice very seriously. But she knows how to have fun, too. And that's what she brings when we're invited to visit patients as part of Tidewell's pet therapy program. People love to see her. She really brightens their day. She makes people smile. And in end-of-life care, a smile can be a wonderful gift. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee County since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
For the last decade, S&S Motorsports of Sarasota has built custom high-performance vehicles for demanding clients worldwide. They're now bringing their 50-plus years of combined build expertise to the parts business. SRQ Performance Parts is your one-stop shop for all your performance parts and accessories.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now. Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
83 degrees the air temperature, plenty of sunshine out there. 68-degree dew point. The dew point's still kind of high. We're waiting for that dew point value to fall, and it will be falling just as soon as that east-northeast wind switches to a more north or northwesterly direction. And that will occur probably around sunset this evening, maybe a little before, but in the second half of the day, we'll start to see those winds shift back around and some drier, pleasant air move into the area. Slightly cooler air as well because of a frontal boundary that's located just to our north right now. You certainly wouldn't notice a frontal boundary by these temperatures. 81 degrees in Wauchula, Arcadia, Myakka, Parrish, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, Northport. 79 degrees Longboat Key, Sarasota coming in at 83, 82 in Venice. We have across the region right now the front, which has sunk south during the course of the morning and is now located just about over Dunedin, points north, Cross City, around in there. And it will be sinking southward through our area, probably around, anywhere between around 5 and 7 o'clock tonight. That zone of transition will be moving through. You'll start to notice those winds switching around a little bit. And when that happens, a couple things going to go on. We're going to draw down some drier, cooler air on that periphery of that high-pressure ridge. We're going to watch the winds start to subside just a little bit as that high kind of builds in. And we will notice some cooler temperatures over the next several days, leading into some very sunny skies over the course of the next couple days as well. Right now we'll go with partly sunny skies for the remainder of the afternoon and into the evening. Periods of increased cloud cover and then other periods of less cloud cover. Breezy wind, and we've had some gusts now, pretty gusty, in excess of 20. And then cooler weather, which will be on the way, settling in. You'll notice it tomorrow. And you'll particularly start to notice it, I think, on Wednesday. So we had this little bit of drier air kind of move into the picture here, get rid of a lot of the low-hanging clouds. The clouds that we're getting now are really those kind of clouds that are coming in from the thunderstorm activity that's occurring over on the other coast and is being brought across by a surface a shallow layer of northeasterly winds. These are winds aloft here, and the bulk of the drier air is still located to the north, just back behind that front. Right now, showers and thunders, even a few thunderstorms over on the other coast, kind of casting off their cloud cover and riding on a northeasterly wind flow, bringing a few of the scattered showers around Hardee and DeSoto County. They tend to just kind of fall apart once they get to about here. So I doubt we'll see a whole lot in the way of any kind of a rainfall chance here, but we might get a little bit of the cloud cover, as I mentioned, from time to time, kind of rolling on by. Across the country, it's very quiet in most locations. Got some snow showers in down east Maine, upstate New York. But the heavier snow showers in parts of Pennsylvania are now ending as that low moves away. And then we'll wait for a combination of the low that's back to the west, producing rain showers in the Pacific Northwest, and some Canadian air that'll team up with it to bring us an even stronger front as we head into the weekend. And you're going to like that in the extended range forecast, what I show you there. Northeast wind at about 20 knots, decreasing overnight tonight to about 10 to 15. But watch out, those seas will be a little choppy out there this morning. We'll go with, I'm going to just about take that rain chance out now. I should have not, forgot to do that. Daytime high today will top out about 84 degrees. And then over the course of the next several days, look, our daytime highs top out in the upper 70s starting on Wednesday. Go right into the weekend. On Saturday, another stronger cold front comes through. And our daytime high on Sunday only in the 70s. Cooler than that on Monday, probably. Scott?
Looks good. Thank you so much, John. Ear infections can be upsetting for families with small children, but one common misconception is that a child tugging at their ear is a clear sign of an infection. Doctors say ear infections are common in children ages 6 months to school age, and kids will pull at their ear for a lot of different reasons, from teething pains to behavioral tendencies. A typical ear infection involves a cold and a cough for 3 or 4 days, which is followed then by a worsening of symptoms with a fever, fussiness, and poor sleep. But even if your child gets 2 to 3 ear infections a year, it's probably not enough to need surgery.
There certainly are kids for whom this is very appropriate, but typically it's 5 to 6 ear infections over the course of a 12-month period are those that would benefit most.
Dr. Callady says children with persistent fluid in their ears to the point where it obstructs their hearing may also be good candidates for ear tube surgery. Over the next 4 years, Florida universities will hire more than 100 new mental health care professionals. The announcement comes following a push by University Board of Governors. Data shows more students are facing serious psychological challenges, including stress, anxiety, and depression. A report earlier this year showed more than 20,000 students used counseling and psychological services at Florida universities. That's a 20% increase over the prior year and a 55% increase over the last decade. Bill Gates has a new mission. The billionaire is investing millions of dollars into dementia research. Every 66 seconds, someone in the U.S. develops dementia. The most common form is Alzheimer's. More than 5 million Americans are living with the disease right now. Well known for his philanthropy in the world of infectious disease, Gates is planning to invest $50 million of his own money into this effort.
First, we probably should say treatment. And any type of treatment would be a huge advance, from where we are today. So, yes, I believe there's a solution.
Today, Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. It kills more people than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. All right, time to head over to our kitchen and say hello to ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher for the first time today. Hi, Judy.
Hi there, Scott. It's countdown, and I am ready. You know, I started last week on Thanksgiving. We'll continue straight through, and good news, I will be here live on Thanksgiving morning from 6 to 7 a.m. and on Facebook Live from 7 to 7:30 to take your calls. But today, we're going to focus on a brioche stuffing. Brioche is really popular. It's a buttery French bread, similar to like a challah bread, and it makes the best stuffing. We're going to add Boursin cheese, wild mushrooms, and some real goodness with fennel and leeks. So stay with me throughout the hour as I bring you the latest in 2017 stuffing to get you ready for Thanksgiving.
Since
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with certain diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation or one of these other serious injuries, call the Rely On Group right now. If you've suffered amputation or any of these injuries after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On Group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has recently warned about an increased risk of leg and foot amputations associated with the use of certain diabetic medications such as Invokana and Invokamet. If you or a loved one took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation, ketoacidosis, kidney failure, or even death, call the Rely On Group now. We are here to help you get the justice you deserve. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-355-8205. That's 800-355-8205.
If you're between 50 and 85 years old, call the number on your screen right now for free information on how to save your family thousands of dollars. We're Family Love Plans, and we've been helping families just like yours for over 30 years. The average funeral today can cost up to $10,000 or more, but the most you'll get from government benefits is just $255. How will your family pay the difference? At Family Love Plans, we can help you and your family. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam and your plan can't be canceled. Better still, your rate will never go up and your benefits will never go down. Get your free information about our senior plans. Just answer a few simple questions and receive approval right over the phone.
Call 1-800-707-3608. That's 1-800-707-3608.
Download the all-new ABC 7 First Alert weather app now.
Scary moment caught on camera at the annual Key West Superboat World Championships over the weekend. Take a look. The boat in behind there, the 18, runs right over the other boat. The number 18 goes airborne before flipping over and crashing into the water. Both boats were severely damaged in the crash and unable to compete in the final day of the racing. Fortunately, though, both men on board that white boat were able to walk away without any injuries. Two Central Florida car thieves are slowed by some dog trouble. Video from a sheriff's helicopter shows the men bailing out of a stolen Camaro late Thursday night. And then a neighborhood dog didn't like that they were in his territory. Eventually, they escaped the neighborhood dog and continued to run, only to be later caught by a different dog, a deputy's canine. 3 U.S. Navy aircraft carriers are putting on a show of strength in the Pacific Ocean. This is the first time in a decade 3 of the 100,000-ton ships have sailed together. Military officials say this should send a clear message to North Korea that the U.S. is not intimidated by the country's nuclear activities. They've been sailing all weekend, and the exercises are expected to end tomorrow. Passengers waiting to leave out of Orlando International Airport this weekend are still recovering from a very stressful scare, but thanks to a quick-thinking TSA agent, they were never really in any danger. A battery inside a bag at a security checkpoint exploded. The incident kept thousands of travelers from reaching their destination on time because the popping sound from the battery was mistaken for gunshots. All flights were postponed for about 4 hours while police investigated, and more than 20 flights had to be canceled.
I was so close to the bag, I figured, let me get it out of the way.
As a result of all the chaos Friday evening, every passenger who was on a plane sitting on the tarmac, waiting at the gate, or just in the terminal had to go through airport screening again. That's where the hours and hours of delays came into play. What a nightmare for those folks. All right, let's get back to the kitchen and check in again as Judy gets us ready for Thanksgiving.
That's right, Scott. So I already started by sauteing the mushrooms and getting some brown on them. What we're going to do is takes about 8 to 10 minutes. You don't want to get them too mushy, but you want to get a little brownness on it and scrape out the bottom. So we have about a pound of, I usually use cremini, the button mushrooms, but you can add a variety of shiitake as well. Now we're going to add a tablespoon or so of butter back to the pan, and let's crank the heat up just for a moment because we just took it off the burner. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start to caramelize the fennel. I love fresh fennel. Have you noticed? I've been using it a lot lately in salads and all sorts of things, but this is just going to be so good. So let's let the butter melt. Let it sit in the pan. We'll keep stirring it about 12 minutes. It's going to be nice and golden. I want to talk to you about what brioche is. You can get it by the loaf. It's that buttery French bread, and they have it at Geyer's Sausage Kitchen right in the front and the Fresh Market, and it is such a great bread, not only to use for your stuffing, but if you have company staying at your house, a great idea is to make brioche French toast. You can make it a day before and you could just pop it in the toaster to heat it up. One less pan, one less thing to cook, right? So now we're gonna take the loaf of brioche. I let it sit out overnight. I'm gonna put it in a 250-degree oven just for about 10 minutes. And that will just dry it out a little more without totally toasting it. Use soggy bread, soft bread. It's gonna make a real mushy stuffing. Now, for the full bird, I save, my mother taught me this, the heels of the bread, if you don't wanna have to truss it and sew it up or use the metal skewers, you can just stick the ends of the bread in each side of the turkey, the front and the back, and you're golden. So while the fennel starts to cook, I am going to add some fresh thyme. Things that you want to have in your kitchen are fresh sage, fresh thyme, and fresh rosemary. Not only for Thanksgiving, but this is the whole flavor profile of autumn and winter, isn't it? And with that cool weather coming, I'm so excited, I can't believe it. Now I'm gonna let this cook down for a little bit, and then I'm gonna add the leeks and mix that together. When we come back, we're gonna add the Boursin cheese, and it is gonna be a delicious stuffing for you to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
You can do something about a crime, any crime, and you can receive a reward of up to $3,000 cash. Call Crime Stoppers with information about criminal activity, unsolved crimes, drug dealers, fugitive criminals, stolen property, illegal weapons. Call 366-TIPS. You will remain anonymous. Visit SarasotaCrimeStoppers.com. Download the Crime Stoppers P3 mobile app from the Apple iTunes Store or Google Play. Call Crime Stoppers 366-TIPS. Paid for by the Attorney General's Office, Crime Stoppers Trust Fund.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
This holiday season, share the greatest gift of all, peace of mind. Nobody beats Subaru in service quality, vehicle quality, and overall quality. And ALG named Subaru the 2017 top brand for residual value. Now during the Subaru Share the Love event, you can lease the most fuel-efficient vehicle in its class, a new Subaru Outback, for just $229 a month, or get 0% financing with zero down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. More accusations in the sexual abuse scandal rocking USA Gymnastics. Now, 6-time Olympic medalist Aly Raisman has come forward, joining more than 125 other women who are accusing the former U.S. women's gymnastics team doctor of repeated sexual abuse. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the latest.
6-time Olympic medalist Aly Raisman says it's time for her to speak out.
Society sometimes makes it hard for people to come forward because you always have people that victim shame, which we have to stop that because it's awful.
This morning, she shares her story of sexual abuse with the Today Show, accusing the former U.S. women's gymnastics team doctor Larry Nassar of repeated sexual abuse, starting when she was just 15. Adding to the growing list of more than 125 women who now say they are also victims.
I just thought he was weird, and I want people to know that I really didn't know it was happening to me. You know, he was a doctor, and he told me that his treatment would help heal all of my injuries, and I was so young. I had never really worked with another, doctor or trainer before, and everyone said he was the best.
In 2016, Raisman was getting ready to head to the Games in Rio, where she would eventually make history as part of the Final Five. Investigators started to ask her questions about Nassar's behavior. It was only then Raisman realized something was wrong.
These monsters are so good at manipulating you, so you're so brainwashed to think, I thought he was so nice.
Nassar is currently in prison after pleading guilty to possessing child pornography, but he denies the charges from these women and says he never sexually assaulted underage girls. Speaking to 60 Minutes, Raisman's family urges other parents to learn from their story.
Sit down with your kids and explain to them that predators aren't just strangers.
Now the spotlight's on USA Gymnastics. In the wake of the scandal, they've replaced the group's president and say they want to work with Aly Raisman and other athletes to make sure they're safe. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Here at home, a North Sarasota community is searching for answers in 2 recent cases. It's been more than 2 months now since the shooting death of Travis Combs and the disappearance of Jabez Spann. And some fear in the community that the community concern is dwindling. Investigators have not found a link between the crimes, but are not ruling out a possible connection. Yesterday, neighbors formed their 11th search party for Spann. The Education Foundation of Sarasota County is granting more than $60,000 to Sarasota County schools. That money will help middle school students develop skills and knowledge necessary for college preparedness. Thanks to the grant money, every Sarasota County middle school student will receive 25 minutes of career readiness instruction each week and will have access to annual career lessons, including a pre- and post-test assessment tool. And another school in Sarasota is getting ahead on computer science. All 600 students at Bay Haven School of Basics Plus are joining the largest learning event in history. It's called the Hour of Code during Computer Science Education Week. At the end of the month, administrators will be partnering with IT professionals to help students and teachers become more computer literate. Suncoast families are on a mission to make an impact in the lives of children in need. Starting today, people are collecting shoebox gifts filled with fun toys, school supplies, and hygiene items as part of Operation Christmas Child's National Collection Week. They're donating colorfully wrapped shoebox gifts to be sent to children around the world, many of whom have never received a gift before and have very little to call their own. The Samaritan's Purse Project will deliver these gifts to children affected by war, disease, disaster, poverty, and famine.
What we put in with the boxes are personal hygiene items, school supplies, toys. A particular need is for the boys 12 to 14. We also pack into the box prayer.
Donations will be distributed to kids in need in more than 120 countries. Charlotte, Sarasota, DeSoto, Manatee counties are all participating in Operation Christmas Child. To find the nearest drop-off location, you can go to SamaritansPurse.org and put in your zip code. And tomorrow, Temple Emmanuel will present children's gift baskets to the pediatric staff of Sarasota Memorial Hospital. These baskets contain art and craft supplies, books, small toys, and other gifts to brighten the lives of children who were in the hospital over the holidays. Temple Emmanuel began assembling these baskets last May, and now it's an ongoing partnership between the synagogue and the hospital. On Casey Key, the observation deck at North Jetty Park will be removed tomorrow. Recent storms, including Hurricane Irma, heavily damaged the dock and the deck over time. The dock had already been closed for almost a year now while the damage was assessed. The removal is expected to take just one day. And time to get another check on our weather with meteorologist John Scalzi. And a little cooler weather is coming our way, but we'll take one more day in the 80s.
Maybe two.
More.
Yeah, maybe 2 more days in the 80s, although it's just barely in the 80s tomorrow. And then maybe down the road, maybe next week, maybe struggling to get in the 70s in some days.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I think it'll be a nice little break. A lot of people have been asking for more seasonable weather for Thanksgiving, and you know, hopefully we can get that. It's kind of looking better today than it did last week, that's for sure. Pleasant weather outside with a little bit of cloud cover to start off the morning. The Lakewood Ranch webcam shows those low-hanging, fast-moving clouds, and then some breaks in those clouds as well. Showers and thunderstorms from the other coast kind of pushing cloud in this direction. With a kind of a race between those clouds and high pressure building from the north. So I think if you had to kind of assign a character to the afternoon skies, it would be partly sunny with maybe partly cloudy skies in inland areas. You can see a few scattered showers trying to work their way across the peninsula, but they kind of fall apart as they do so. So I don't think there's much of a rainfall chance today as we head to a daytime high of about 84. We'll have the complete forecast, including what happens after this front moves through, coming up in just a few. Scott.
All right, John, thank you. The Trump administration says it prefers to talk with world leaders about tough issues like human rights behind closed doors, believing that allows for more leverage than public criticisms. President Trump meeting today with the controversial president of the Philippines. ABC's Karen Travers has the latest.
Good afternoon. The Trump administration says it likes to talk about tough issues like human rights behind closed doors, believing that gives them more leverage than public criticisms. That's what President Trump did today with Philippine President Duterte.
It was a highly anticipated, closely watched meeting. President Trump sitting down with Philippine President Duterte, the two leaders striking a positive tone.
We've had a great relationship. This has been very successful.
Duterte has come under intense scrutiny by human rights groups who say he's carried out thousands of extrajudicial killings as part of his aggressive crackdown on drug dealers. The White House says the meeting focused on ISIS, trade, and drugs, and human rights briefly came up in the context of the Philippines' fight against illegal drugs. Before that, the president's day started with an awkward moment. Mr. Trump and other world leaders standing side by side, told to put one hand over the other and shake hands with the person next to them. It didn't go smoothly, and Mr. Trump didn't seem to be enjoying himself. Later, he got down to business, a meeting with the prime ministers of Australia and Japan. President Trump says he's made a lot of progress on trade in North Korea, but hasn't pointed to any specific new commitment he's taking back to Washington. He teased a major announcement he'll make Wednesday at the White House.
It'll be a very complete statement as to trade, as to North Korea, as to a lot of other things.
President Trump attends one more summit of world leaders on Tuesday, and then he heads back to Washington. He seems eager to get back home. He told the Prime Minister of India he's rounding the turn to the end of this trip, and his flight leaves mid-afternoon on Tuesday. Karen Travers, ABC News, traveling with the president in Manila.
And President Trump expected to start returning to his Palm Beach estate around Thanksgiving holiday. Mar-a-Lago has been a place of rest and peace for the president for about 30 years now. But those who support him, as well as those who oppose him, are starting to stand their ground in renewed demonstrations. And this is just the beginning of what could be a long winter-filled season of protests for local law enforcement in South Florida.
Anything from health care to bans to trans bans to DACA to sanctuary cities and, on and on and on.
Local law enforcement have spent several $1 million on security and helping to protect the commander-in-chief. The protest was not one-sided, however. Supporters of the president and his policies also showed up there. Time to get back to the kitchen and see how lunch is coming along with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher. It sure smells good, Judy.
Ah, the flavors of Thanksgiving. So we have the leeks and the fennel. We're going to add about 2.5 cups of chicken stock. Now, if you want to keep this vegetarian, by all means, you can use mushroom broth. And they have that in almost every store nowadays. So that's a really good option for stuffing if you don't want to have to make two. So we let that reduce just slightly, add the mushrooms and that juice back in. And as you can see, I've taken the brioche that we've warmed up, we just kind of toasted a little more, and I've cut it into cubes. So we're all set for that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the bread, put it in here. I have 4 beaten eggs, and we're going to mix these eggs right into here and get that soft. Now here is my big trick. I add Boursin cheese. Now this is a garlic herb cheese, and you can, by all means, you can make that at home with cream cheese and dried thyme and lots of fresh garlic, a little parsley. But you can also buy it about $6.99 it costs to get one of these. And depending on how big your pan is going to be how much you're going to need. Now, because I'm using such a large pan, I can go ahead and add all this back into the pan. You want to make sure the eggs don't cook, so now's the time to get that off the burner, okay? The eggs, think of this, it's almost like a bread pudding, and that brioche just makes it so creamy, it's just decadent. So I've sprayed out my casserole pan, and this again is a nice time of year to use a really good casserole dish like a Le Creuset, because it holds the temperature the way it's built, and it just moderate. So sometimes if you use a tin pan, you're going to notice that the sides don't cook the same way, and this just holds the temperature really well. So since my family loves Boursin, and my family at ABC does too, I'm going to put in about another half of one. So, oh my gosh, if you could just smell the aroma right here, it's perfect. So what we're going to do next is it's all tossed, is we're going to put it in our prepared casserole, which means I've just sprayed it with food spray, and we're going to get it ready to bake, 350 degrees. And listen, it's better to make your stuffing outside of the bird, save 1/4 to 1/2 cup of the drippings, and you can pour it on top for the last 5 minutes. When we come back, I'll take my pan out of the oven, and you'll get to see what it looks like. Ooh, it's going to be really good.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Get the best Black Friday deals right now during the Black Friday sales event at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Don't just settle for what's available at a smaller lot. Come shop the Suncoast's largest selection of Ram trucks. Get maximum cargo space and more comfort with a new Ram Quad Cab at rock bottom pricing. Or spread out in your spacious new Ram Crew Cab and save up to $11,000. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
83-degree air temperature, plenty of sunshine out there. Dew point coming in at 68 and an east-northeast wind, breezy at about 13. It'll be kind of a breezy, blustery wind throughout the afternoon. As we head into the evening, those winds will start to subside a little bit as high pressure begins to build in behind a frontal boundary located to our north, and the gradient starts to relax. 81 degrees in Wauchula, 80 in Arcadia, 82 in Myakka, Parrish, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, Northport, closer to the coast, 81 to 83 degrees. Across the region, a frontal boundary is sinking south, high pressure building in behind it. That frontal boundary will push through our area later this evening. Right now it's located just to the north of us, around the Big Bend region. And this one will pack a little bit more of a punch than the last one did. It's still not going to bring us, terribly chilly temperatures, but it will lower our temperatures about 4 or 5 degrees, taking us into the upper 70s instead of the lower to mid 80s. So that'll be a significant change. Plus, a lot more dry air headed our way, too, which will make it feel more comfortable in the afternoons. High pressure back behind that will build in, and that will lead to a very pretty day tomorrow. For the rest of the afternoon, though, partly sunny skies, this breezy wind, and then cool, dry weather, which will arrive here probably by tomorrow morning. You look at the water vapor imagery, the drier air sinking southward. That's our area of high pressure that will be building in behind the front that's located right about there. You can see that frontal boundary. A little bit of drier air kind of did work its way in aloft, and that helped to mix away some of the cloud cover that we have along the west coast of Florida, or had. There's still some thunderstorm activity, kind of a trough that's located toward the east coast and pushing down toward the southwest. It's producing a few of these showers that we see around here, and some of the rainfall is light to moderate in the center part of the state, but as soon as it starts moving into our half of the state, things kind of fall apart just a little bit, and that's what's going on here. A few scattered areas of patchy drizzle in Arcadia and Wauchula, around those areas. About a 20% chance of a little bit of rainfall in inland locations. Don't expect to see a whole lot around our neck of the woods. Once that high pressure builds in, you can see a lot of the country very quiet today. Have some scattered snow showers and rain showers along the coast in the northeast and down east Maine. We have some rain showers located back to the west from northern California all the way up through areas of Washington state. But other than that, there are no large scale, big significant weather systems moving through the United States at this time. Futurecast shows a few clouds around and that general northeast wind continuing today, but then as high pressure builds in, we start to see more and more breaks in those clouds and more dry weather approach. I think this kind of even overdoes just a little bit the amount of rain showers that this system will produce. Northeast wind coming in at about 20, reducing to 10 to 15. And then the official Suncoast forecast shows daytime high temperatures drop, and we wait for Saturday when the next more significant front moves through, lowering our temperatures down into the low 70s, maybe even some upper 60s on the boards as we start next work week. Back to you, Scott.
Okay, John, thank you. In consumer news, an internet scam you need to hear about. When you contact a business you found on a Google ad, you may not be getting who you think you are. Google Business Listings have an option to suggest and edit, which allows almost anyone to change information. That means there's no telling who you are getting in contact with and doing fraudulent business with. The search engine has an automated system to detect fraud, but there can be inaccuracies which it, quote, tries to address as quickly as possible. But there are some ways you can protect yourself as a consumer.
You should check multiple sites, Google, Yelp, even Nextdoor, which is a social network for neighbors.
Now, if you're a business owner and want to protect your clients, you can register to receive an email from Google anytime your business's contact information has been changed by someone. And if you get a call from local police, beware, a phone scam is happening in Sarasota. The scammers are spoofing or using the number for the Sarasota Police Department to make calls posing as police officers who are asking for money. Sarasota Police say they will never call and ask for your banking information over the phone. If you receive one of these calls, you're asked to contact Sarasota Police and their non-emergency line to report it and verify the call. That number is 316-1199. And as big retailers get ready for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, many smaller businesses are looking forward to something called Small Business Saturday. It's set for Saturday, November 25th, in what will be its 7th year. This can be a great opportunity for mom and pop run shops to win over new customers and increase their sales. Business owners are encouraged to use social media to promote their shopping events and use hashtags such as Shop Small and Dine Small to get the word out. Chinese consumers are spending billions of dollars shopping online for anything from diapers to diamonds on what's called Singles Day, a day of promotions that has grown into the world's biggest e-commerce event. This weekend, China's biggest online retailer, Alibaba Group, made billions of dollars off the unofficial holiday. Singles Day was started by Chinese college students back in the 90s as a version of Valentine's Day for people without romantic partners. Still to come in your Suncoast News, one of Bob Dylan's old guitars sells for hundreds of thousands of dollars over the weekend, why the musician abandoned it back in the 70s.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota Flooring.
And for a limited time, Minnesota Flooring is offering you unbelievable pricing on tile and laminate. Porcelain tile only $1.59. Ceramic tile 99 cents. And 16 by 16 tile $1.19. Laminate flooring is only 99 cents. But these prices won't last. Don't miss out on these great deals. Hurry into Minnesota Flooring today.
It's the holiday sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKX Sport Utility for $349 per month, or Lincoln's flagship, the 2017 Continental, for $449 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury. Winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Sun Coast since 1978. We are located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential. There's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch Hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
We are back, and
Brioche
tastes really good.
Stuffing. You like that? The Boursin cheese,
Yeah.
I think, kind of adds a lot.
Mhm.
With leeks, sauteed mushrooms, caramelized leeks and fennel, I should say.
Mm.
So a great alternative to a more traditional stuffing. But John, I know you guys love the brioche.
Oh, we do.
So you can bring it
Thank you.
home,
Thank
get
you.
started, make your French toast
Yes.
a few days ahead of time, put it in the fridge or the
We
freezer.
made your crunchy French toast over the weekend. It was
You
fantastic.
did? Oh,
Yes.
good,
Absolutely
good.
great. Yeah,
All
with
right.
Granola, it's beautiful. Look it up on the website if you don't know about it. It's really wonderful. This too would be absolutely fantastic for Thanksgiving Day meals on our website, mysuncoast.com. Click on the dining link page, and it'll take you right there. Judy, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Scott.
All right, thank you both. Taylor Swift is on her way to breaking sales records, including her own. More than 700,000 copies of her new album, Reputation, sold on the first day of its release in the U.S. Reputation may become the best-selling album of 2017 if the sales continue at the current price. A guitar once owned by Bob Dylan fetched nearly $400,000 at an auction Saturday. Back in the 1970s, Dylan decided to switch to Gibson guitars, so he sold it to his guitar repairman for only $500. The repairman says he kept the guitar in a humidity-controlled room for the past 40 years and that the guitar has not been played since Bob Dylan handed it over. That was a good investment. And then here at home, the sand sculptures on Siesta Key will soon be history. 24 of the world's best sand sculptors have been working the past few days, turning lumps of sand into artwork. Catalytic Thinking took home the Sculptors Award. Third place went to Reclamations, showing a Jeep next to a tree. Second place sculptors Helena Bangard and Fergus Mulvaney created Water Dream. And then Winter is Coming, taking home first place this year, a creation of Dan Becker and Karen Freilich. They'll all be bulldozed, though, this afternoon. They can't stay, that must be the hardest, excuse me, the hardest thing to do for the guy driving that big
Oh, I
machine.
know. I wish they could
You
leave
know?
it 1 or 2 more
Just
days.
sort of go like this and go forward.
Need therapy.
I know.
It's probably a danger, though, don't you think? The kids and stuff who try to play around in the sand.
Some of them are pretty hot.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Have a great day ahead. We'll see you again at 5.